Hey guys, Bix Weir, roadtour.com. Let's talk gold standard. Is Trump going to return us to a gold standard? Does he want to return us to a gold standard? And the people behind Trump? Possibly. We have a new trigger point for many of you people looking for gold in the Grand Canyon. Trump proposes mining uranium near Grand Canyon. Every single president since Reagan has tried to open up the Grand Canyon for mining. They always say uranium, but it's always gold. Massive amounts of gold in the canyon. Is that the first step to moving on to a gold standard? I do not know. But every single president has tried to open up the Grand Canyon for mining, and every single president has been denied. Because we aren't ready to go back onto a gold standard. We will be, and we're getting very close. So this article is kind of a hint as to what Trump is thinking. I'm not so sure Trump wants to go on a crypto standard. But if Trump is a good guy, he would allow all currencies to trade. Maybe the U.S. goes on a gold standard, but we can still use cryptos. Clearly, it's not in the Americans' interest to block us out of cryptocurrencies. The rest of the world is going down the cryptocurrency path. But a gold standard would be really interesting. No, a backed currency would not work with gold because all the faith would be lost at that point in time. And it will have to be a redemption type gold standard with gold coins. With gold coins. With gold coins. With gold coins. Banking basics. I'll get to this in a second. Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. Same place the Rotorua documents came from. Anyway, Trump proposes mining for uranium near the Grand Canyon. The Trump administration released a long-awaited plan to revive and strengthen the uranium mining industry to boost nuclear power, of course. If enacted, the proposal would wreak ecological havoc on U.S. public lands, including the Grand Canyon. This is not at all about uranium. This is about massive amounts of gold in the banks of the Colorado River and in the Grand Canyon. Massive amounts of gold. This was what I found when I was searching the archives of the New York Times. Tell of vast riches in the canyon and the Grand Canyon. Men engaged in gold dredging operations expect to astonish the world. This came out when? Right before the creation of the Federal Reserve. June 19th, 1912. They talk of billions and billions of ounces in the Grand Canyon. I've done a lot of work on this subject. If you think I'm full of crap, at least look at my research. I made it really easy for you now. Go to roadtoruta.com. Click right there on the front page. Go down the second article. Grand Canyon gold is real. This is for everybody. Grand Canyon gold is real. Watch that video. Watch the second video. Yes, that's me at the spot in the Grand Canyon where they were mining the gold. Yes, that is the steamboat they built in San Francisco and brought out to the Grand Canyon. That's what's left of it. It is now a historic spot. Believe that one. And then watch my video, Golden Oldies to the Crypto Future. The Grand Canyon gold is true. The U.S. has millions of tons of gold. Millions of tons. Not 200,000 tons like Jeffrey Christian will tell you. Millions of tons of gold. There is a lot of gold out there. Yes, it is massively manipulated, way underpriced, but there is a hell of a lot of gold out there. Not that much silver, but a hell of a lot of gold. And the plan was to go back to a gold standard. Plan from the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Treasury was to go back to a gold standard. This is the document that was released the very same day they released the Road to Ruta documents, Wishes and Rainbows comic book, and the teacher's guide called the Road to Ruta. Although this one didn't have the big red exclamation point that the Fed had put on the first two, but it was still there. This is one of three that were released on the Fed Boston website. It's called Banking Basics. Banking Basics, I've talked about this a lot on Road to Ruta, but I want you to keep an eye on the gold. There's a kid putting a gold coin in a piggy bank. Means nothing, right? You're right. That means nothing. And then they blew it up on the next page. And there's a woman standing in line with gold coins at an ATM. Look at page 17. Whoa. There's a girl going into a bank with a whole bunch of gold coins. The cashier giving her money, or vice versa. That's what would be required if we went on a gold standard, because there'd be no trust. You'd want to be able to cash in your bills for gold at any moment in time. And then you have the gold chart in the background. This is from the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. And that's a lot of gold in there. And it goes on to talk about banks crashing. Gusher National Bank, right here. Do banks crash? Where is it? Here's a good one. This is on from the Fed. Do banks keep large amounts of gold and silver in their vaults? Today, banks rarely keep gold and silver in their vaults. That's because our paper money is no longer backed by gold or silver. Our coins don't contain precious metal. The U.S. government still holds millions of ounces of gold and silver, but citizens and foreign... Well, that is not true anymore. The U.S. does not... Well, yeah, they probably own millions of ounces in the Silver Eagle program. Do they? No, I don't think they do. Well, right now they don't because they're not making them. But yeah, I think overall they hold millions, but not enough silver. The U.S. government holds millions of ounces of gold and silver, but citizens and foreign governments can no longer exchange U.S. paper money for it. Why? Because they print too much paper money. The government's gold and silver are considered valuable assets rather than forms of money. Today's coins and paper money are backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. Wow, that full faith and credit has been absolutely shattered. If that makes you a little uneasy, yes it does, try the following exercise. Put a $10 bill and a blank piece of paper on a tabletop. Ask people to choose between the two. Chances are everyone will choose the $10 bill. Why? After all, neither the $10 bill nor the blank piece of paper is backed by gold and silver. The difference is that people all over the United States will accept the $10 bill as payment if you want to buy something. But you would have a hard time finding someone willing to accept a blank piece of paper. That's because the $10 bill is backed by the promise of the United States government, and to most, that promise is as good as gold. That is ridiculous. It promises that, by the way, this little pamphlet was written in 1987 when they started the Gold Silver Eagle Act. And here we go right into why do banks fail. Now, does this ring true? Gusher National Bank fails because of falling oil prices. And right between that and the next one is the Gata picture, full sunlight on the Federal Reserve. Yes, you have to watch my other videos to understand that. And then Bedrock National Bank, the crashing of the real estate market. We're on the brink of that again. I think houses, in the next 10 years, houses will drop 90% in value. Think about it. If there's no bank to lend, what's the value of your house? Whatever someone has cash to pay for it. Anyway, the big thing is, I think they put that picture again at the end. There's the girl standing in line with the gold in her hands at the ATM. And there it is, right at the end. Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, cashing in gold. So, is the U.S. going back to a gold standard? Potentially. Look at the $100 bill, gold all over the right side of it. And it written in gold is, you have the right and the duty to overthrow your government when they get out of hand. Obviously, all governments are out of hand right now. That's on the $100 bill. Look at all the gold and flip it over. And then if you really want to go down in the weeds, read Greenspan's Golden Secret. That'll blow you away. Everybody who said, Bix, you're full of shit about Greenspan, they read that article and they say, oh my God. Yes, Greenspan was a computer programmer in the 60s and 70s. Yes, he did plot on destroying the monetary system by creating so much money to crash the old system and bring us onto a gold standard. That's why Trump is running into the Grand Canyon to rip it apart and get as much gold as possible. I don't think he needs to rip it apart. He needs to contact me. Trump guys, contact me. There are places where the gold's already refined, ready to go. You just haven't found it yet. You might have found it. There is a military base within the Grand Canyon. Absolutely. It's a secret military base. I know a guy who's been there. I trust this guy 100%. It's all happening, my friends, on the road to Ruda. Now, will we go to a gold standard or a crypto standard or a little of both? My guess is a little of both. And yes, I do believe that the U.S. government has the Satoshi Bitcoin, 1 million Bitcoin, and 1 million Bitcoin Cash, and all the other crap coins after that. And they will be able to allocate that to U.S. citizens as money when the time is right. Or they can use gold, or they can use a combination of the both. My bet is on Trump wants gold, the bad guys want cryptos. But it'll probably come somewhere in the middle. Now, what happens to silver when gold's used as money? Infinity. Silver will be so massively valuable because it means the old system failed. I can't even tell you. Silver will go to its proper ratio, probably 4-to-1, maybe even 1-to-1. There's only 6 billion ounces of gold above ground, and there's 6 billion ounces of silver above ground that we can get our hands on. Obviously, all the silver, all 60 billion, is on the planet, but it's in little tiny pieces, in dumps, in recycling areas where they get a little bit of silver out. We're going to need a lot of silver for the high-tech future we're headed in. Anyway, hey, I just finished an interview with Dave at X22 Report. We talked about a lot of great stuff. Keep an eye on that. Go to X22 Report Spotlight. Probably be out maybe the end of this week. He has to do a little editing probably. But check that out. I will send it out at Road to Ruta. If you're on the Road to Ruta mailing list, you'll get the link right away. Go to roadtoruta.com. Put your name and email address on the mailing list. It's free. It's Bix Weir. Golden oldies to the crypto future. Which will win, or maybe both will win. That's my. Talk to you later.